I want to start by apologising to the new Nourished by Time album and the Water from Your Eyes album and the World is a Beautiful Place album for not standing a chance today. Alright, it's me. I'm back again, and it is an honour to say, just want to draw your attention to the new album by Deftones called Private Music. I guess it's public. Yeah, that's right. Another grey-haired 46-year-old day one fan here. Gonna talk about this album. You're damn right I am. Respect your elders, kids. Now, I'll be surprised given the pandemic TikTok success that there will be people either new or old that haven't yet heard one song by this 30-year-old Sacramento, California band, but just in case, I'll indulge. If Pumpkins were the shoegaze side of grunge on Siamese Dream, Deftones are seen as the shoegaze side of their alternative metal peers and left field of their new metal brethren. Not that Wes Borland was exactly a pop guitarist, was he? So I never really understood that remark other than the fact that Deftones were resisting that 2-3 open riff. Starting loosely after being friends in high school in '88, and after going from actual ska music circa '92, inspired by bands like the Bad Brains, it would only be a few years later that these bunch of skaters would release their raw debut post-hardcore album Adrenaline in the winter of '95. So this is 2 months shy of being a 30-year anniversary. But it wasn't until a decade later in the mid-2000s that they really started to find their main sound, a sound that we are still in the shadows of today, but now it's fully formed and perfected. Ignoring Chino's awesome side projects like Crosses, Deftones is still just Steph and his big, fat, massive 8-string guitar. Abe with those infectious grooves and the best fills in the game, and Frank with whatever Frank does. The atmosphere and his magical desk of tricks, God knows what. They are providing the ingredients for Chef Chino to turn it into a dish or use one of his own and soar over the music like a dancing, screaming angel. I discovered them on Headbangers Ball when the 7 Words video dropped at the end of '95, and I think I saw it in like January '96 at 1 a.m. See, most of you probably only know short black hair Chino, but to me, he will probably always be either dreadlocks Chino rocking the Cactus Club, finding himself, or bleached blonde smashing up an HMV in Philadelphia, or causing a literal riot at Desert Sky Pavilion in Phoenix. I then famously went and saw them at the Astoria in London in 1997. I say famously, well, sadly the long-time Deftones live video for that show on YouTube was deleted, as was that channel sadly, but I had the top comment on it for ages, and that was nice. What an absolute pleasure and a privilege to have a favourite band for 30 years. I can't say that about other 90s bands. Obviously, I'll always wonder what a 10th or 12th Nirvana album might have sounded like. So many bands last 5 to 10 years max, so for Deftones to exist and to survive well in different decades with completely different fans is a true testament to their enduring greatness. We've gone from cats to ponies to owls to flamingos and now snakes. What does it all mean? Is Chino new metal's answer to David Attenborough? In a month where it's felt like the new Battlefield game might be harkening back to its glory days of Battlefield 3 or 4, is this new Deftones album reminding us of Around the Fur and the self-titled, or is it more like Koi or Saturday? Let's find out, shall we? Come on. What's on the menu today? What, Warner Childs? We've got 11 tracks for you, running at 42 minutes. Starting with track 1, My Mind is a Mountain. Such an amazing all-timer. I love it so much. I love Chino's classic oohs so much. I love the way it sways. I love the way it's big and epic and bouncy with its sort of marching band intro that's used again with stabs to kind of connect all the verses. Honestly, it's one of my favourite Deftones songs in years. It's probably the best chunky song we've had since Butcher, probably. Also sounds like it could have been on the self-titled. It's that grand. We Sail. Up next is track 2, Locked Club. It's got a thick as anything single string riff, but that's something I could say a lot about songs on this album. It's Deftones, guys. Have you heard Steph's guitar before? Woo! It's got an interesting sort of staggered offbeat to it. Chino doing some sort of interesting tannoy speaker talking over the verse. There are some nice little sounds in the chorus that I wish were a bit more up front in the mix. As Chino says, "Can you feel it?" Yes, I can feel it, Chino. I can feel it, mate. I also love the lyric, "So in love with the calm and the chaos, closer to God, closer to space, locked in." And then the song sounds like it goes into a black hole at the end and stretches the fabric of time. It's another good track. The fellas have come out swinging. Being 50 is the new 30 or something, right, guys? We cruise in style. And then we've got track 3, Ectasis. The start of this made me think of a Filter song. Hope some of you Zoomers have heard of Filter, but if you like this, you'll like their first few albums. But anywho, I digress. I love the groove and the key that it's in. Obviously, I love the climate lyrics. Wish the bridge went longer though and was a bit more ethereal and just became like a new outro section instead of going back into the chorus. Though I do appreciate that there's a added guitar in the final chorus to mix things up a bit. Put a little bit of sauce on it. Another great track. Yeah, 3 for 3, guys. Can We Sit Here? Track 4 is Infinite Source. Speaking of sauce, I knew the second I pressed play on this that this was going to be my song. And it is. It's my favourite on the album. I like the riff, but it's more the fact that I'm a sucker for Chino's softer vocals. So if you're the same as me and you like their softer side in the later years, this is the track for you. I kept craving another chord at the bridge at some point because the melody seemed to hit a ceiling and I really wanted to break through it. But I love the overlapping layer of vocals at the end and those single hit keys in the background. It's an absolutely wonderful track. And then I read the lyrics and got a bit emotional. Hold on tight. Track 5 is Souvenir. It's the longest song on the album, even though the length is extended by this tacked on little synth bit. It starts quite deceivingly different as well. It's even got Abe doing some nice little cross stick action, but it's very big and stadium ready with Chino hitting a massive falsetto on We Ride. With this thunderous music behind him, all I could do was picture Nicolas Cage and Ghost Rider. All we can do is just hold on for dear life at this point. Sounds like it could have been on Diamond Eyes or Arms. It's also got a glorious rising bridge and some Around the Fur-esque vocals in the background for anyone wanting that fix. After that, we got track 6, CXZ. Speaking of Around the Fur, this was giving me Damone energy on the verses, but then like a Foo Fighters chorus on the toms. I thought the lyric was, what is up, what is down, what is lost, that had been stuck in my head all day. And I was like, yeah, that sums up how I feel in the middle of this album. I was, that pleasantly surprised. Didn't know where I was. I was making up my own lyrics. But then I saw that the lyric is actually one instead of what. One is up, one is down, and one is lost. And I was like, is this about the band? But some fast as fuck claps soon snaps me out of my puzzle. And this one's really grown on me the more I listen to it. Track 7 is I Think About You All the Time. It starts with just Chino and a mostly clean guitar. You can picture the spotlight on the stage. I've said it time and time again before it drops to the curtain to reveal a deep and thoughtful ballad of a track. It's glorious when it kicks in. It's got a bit of ohms mixed with the self-titled, a bit of delay here and there, and some twinkling synths in the background, and then a lovely cheeky acoustic guitar turns up faintly in the distance. I wish it was more in the foreground for some of that My Bloody Valentine Siamese dreaminess. I feel like a song like this would normally be double the length and at the end of the album, but I guess it is a little bit similar to the final track, so you have to keep them apart. Honestly, it ends just as it starts to get pretty. We sail again. And then bang, straight into the second single, Milk of the Madonna at track 8. Amusing, because Madonna signed Deftones in 95. Anywho, loved it. Whoever came up with the da-dush, da-dush, da-dush bit completely made the song. It's my favourite part. The ultimate glue for what is essentially just two riffs. Holy Ghost, I'm on Fire. It was very catchy stuff, and keeping up with my Ghost Rider theme, it fits. It's very bouncy. You can just see an entire festival field bouncing up and down to this one. More overlapping vocals at the end. It really becomes a sort of endless trance. Runaway. Track 9 is Cut Hands. Man, I wish this track was longer and the hi-hats were louder or a bit more open. I'd say there's a certain portion of the fan base that wants a whole album like this song, where Chino's in his angry, biting, semi-rap groove, and hey, I'm a simple guy, I probably want that as well, but hey, I'm a 90s fan, and I do really love it though. Steph can play that riff for 10 hours as long as I care. The bridge is a bit mental and disorienting though, but the payoff at the end clears things up, and it's solid stuff. Not pulling me out. Track 10 is Metal Dream. It's an interesting, not very metal track. Whoever's idea it was to have these two broken up guitars for the verse there is really nice. I like how they sound, like they're just at a band practice. Made me think of The Police and the way that we can hear the room. Even though these verses are kind of industrial and cold, and then you get this sort of warm, hazy, dreamy chorus. Lyrically, it's like a love song, but combined with the music, it's quite the cocktail as Chino repeats, "Together forever." Off we sleep. Track 11 is Departing the Body and Departing the Album. I can't tell if that's actually Iggy Pop or if it's Chino doing an impression at the start. I checked online, but no one's mentioned it yet. It's got a very nice, simple picking riff before we get drenched in layers of guitars and synths, like standing under a shower waiting for the hot water to arrive. There's a complete cleanse at the end and enchantment in our eyes lyrics. It kind of gave me Turnstile vibes with the way the synth kept flowing in the background. It's very kaleidoscopic, man. Again, I was in a complete trance. It was like I was in Naked Gun, the original. I must kill Frank Drebin. And that's it. So if this is their last album, and the lyrics and Steph's thank you notes sure read like it, what a way to go out. But if more comes, I'll always be there to check it out. I mean, if Metallica can still do it, I'm sure Deftones will. When the artwork first came out, I seemed to be the only one of my friends that liked it, and I still do. Look how minty it is. Are Deftones saying they're fans of Whitesnake? All jokes aside, but the album has literally blown some of my friends' heads off, which after 30 years is really impressive for them to say it sounds fresh. It's like Balboa saying there's still some stuff in the basement. These 50-year-olds ain't out for the count yet. One thing I've always found interesting is we all like the same band for different reasons. Different members, different eras, different songs, and different albums. I went through their whole discography this week to prep, and I think this is on par with... Wait, context, you're going to need the list to know what that means. Alright, so I've got it in like 3 groups. You've got OMS, Diamond Eyes, and Gore at the lower group. Good albums would be lesser bands' best albums. And for the record, I respect the hell out of Gore. It's the cool fuck you kid at the table, and I love it. Then I've got self-titled, Koi, Private, and Saturday in the middle group. Great albums, solid back to back. Which leaves then, of course, Pony, Fur, and then Adrenaline at the tippy top echelon. I don't care what anyone says. Even Chino. Adrenaline's a debut masterpiece. So this is their 10th released album, not including Eros. Private Music feels like a greatest hits of all the other albums since 2001. And that is why it is my album of the week. So yeah, that's it. No idea who it's going to be next week, which is exciting. But let's go enjoy the end of the summer, shall we? I'll see you on the next one. A peace.